Jump by Van Halen has been a hit song since it was released in December 1983. But there's certain things about it I never hear anyone talk about, which is why I wanted to make this video to go over what I think are the deep hidden features of that song that are a big deal. For starters, just some background. Jump was the lead single off the band's album 1984, released in the year 1984. And if you just look at the album cover, there's already a lot happening. The album cover is a greaser angel baby smoking a cigarette, which I think that alone is a perfect summary of what Van Halen is. For one thing, it hits this line that's like tough but funny, and that's a hard line to hit. I just respect them for being able to get to anything that like convincingly gives you the vibe of tough but funny. And then the other thing I want to get to about the album cover is that like an angel baby is like a classical form, you know? It's like the kind of thing that the old masters would have painted or something like that. But in this case, it's smoking a cigarette. And just the impulse to like take a classical form and mess it up like that, I think is very Van Halen. For example, Eddie Van Halen as a kid took classical piano lessons, but then he went on to be this incredible rock and roll guitar player in like the world's greatest party band. I'll give you another example of this. There's also Roman numerals on the album cover. They spell out 1984 in Roman numerals. And here again, Roman numerals is supposed to be a classical thing, but it's getting messed up because it's a rock and roll album. So it's a classical thing being used in a vulgar way. And this is always the crucial thing with Van Halen. They were never just any one thing. That always contained opposites. They were a hard rock band that used a lot of major keys and vocal harmony. It's like almost hard to figure out whether they were a bubblegum pop group or a heavy metal band, which I think is cool. Then on a musical level, one thing I like about Jump is just how bright and major the chords are. It's like all major triads, and it just, sometimes I think that song is the most major key song ever written, and I like it for that reason too. I like how far they pushed into major world for that song. But in terms of everything that's happening musically, I actually think other videos have covered that well, and what I want to talk about is the lyrics written by David Lee Roth, the singer. There's a thing about the lyrics that I often hear people make fun of. It's the part where he says, "So can't you see me standing here? I got my back against the record machine. I ain't the worst that you've seen. Oh, can't you see what I mean?" And the joke is always, "No, Dave, we can't see what you mean because your lyrics are just gibberish." And I've always thought that they're not just gibberish. There's like even if they are kind of gibberish, there's like a statement being made with the gibberish. But who's right? Wouldn't it be nice if we could know exactly what was in David Lee Roth's mind when he wrote those lyrics? Well, actually, we can know that because he wrote a book, and he answers this exact question. In the book, he wrote, "In a number of Van Halen tunes, there's places where the lyrics don't make exact sense, or you can't quite decipher what's being said. And that comes from trying to imitate old blues records where you couldn't get anything but the end of the sentence. Boppity bop blop, baby, all night long. Some of this is meant to be rhythmic, sometimes it was attitude, which revved up so hard that it just defies lyrics. There are certain things that shouldn't have too much meaning, like Saturday Night." Okay, so there's a lot there, but the key points are, the meaning is not in the words themselves, but how they're expressed. And this level of meaning is completely nonverbal. It's expressed through rhythm, attitude, physicality, and it's like we create meaning ourselves through physical action. Or in other words, to get to any meaning, you have to take a leap. You see where I'm going with this? You take that leap, it's like you might as well jump. And "you might as well jump" is the big line in the song. Okay, now you might be thinking I'm doing a lot with a little there. Maybe I'm just a Van Halen fan who's like trying to make stuff up and has gone far beyond anything David Lee Roth actually meant. But that's not what's happening. I didn't make this up. David Lee Roth made this up, and there's proof. Again, it's in his book. He also wrote, "I've always communicated the most physically, It's a big part of the reason that Van Halen defied the language barrier. It was truly Esperanto. I have an emotional reaction to something, and I'd like to share that emotional reaction with you, not just so that you can analyze it, but so that you may experience it at the same time. And for me, body language in its infinite forms has been the most direct, straight line to that kind of goal. Once you know that's how David Lee Roth was thinking about it, I think it makes it more amazing and like more beautiful to see his jumps on stage. And also just the fact that he had these ideas about language and meaning and their limitations and the way you can get around those limitations as a physical performer. And then he was able to like compress that into a pop song that he titled Jump. All of that just slays me. It honestly makes me think that Jump is a perfect work of art.